Senator Graham basically challenged me, and I accept the challenge, to show as much concern about the gun deaths, to show as much concern about fentanyl deaths in this country, and I want to do that. He noted, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that the #1 cause of death, people 18 to 45, is drug overdose. I don't know if it's fentanyl specifically, but a drug overdose. And I know that reality. But the #1 cause of death to children under the age of 18 is gun violence in America too. We can do both. We must do both. So let's address the fentanyl issue for a minute. This is out of hand. Do you believe that we need to do more to regulate and control the use of social media platforms that are currently exploiting families and children across America?
Senator, I agree with both you and Senator Graham with respect to how horrible this situation is. I have personally met with the families of children and teenagers and young adults and even the elderly who have taken these pills, often thinking that they're taking Adderall or oxycodone or Percocet, a prescription drug, but when in fact it is filled with fentanyl. And as the DEA administrator's testimony demonstrated, 6 out of 10 of those pills are a fatal dose.
Words in your mouth, but I think Section 230 has become a suicide pact. We have basically said to these companies, you are absolved from liability, make money, and they're at it in overtime. And deaths result from it, and we have a responsibility. I think the committee really spoke to it. We may see it differently, but on a bipartisan basis. And I've spoken to Senator Graham, and I want to make sure that when we agree, it also is publicized. We both feel very strongly that this committee needs to be a venue to take on this issue. I hope we have your support and the support of the president when we do that.
You certainly have our support with respect to finding a better way to get the social media companies, whether it's civil or criminal, to take these kind of things off their platforms, to search for them, to not use algorithms that recommend them. I totally agree with that. So.
Fentanyl deaths are more than gun and accident deaths combined in the United States. Did you know that?
Yes, sir.
I mean, how would you describe the fentanyl problem in America?
It's a horrible epidemic,
okay.
But it's an epidemic that's been unleashed on purpose by the Sinaloa and the New Generation Jalisco cartel.
Okay. It's a horrible epidemic. It kills more people than car wrecks and gun violence combined. And the question is, what are we going to do about it? Under current law, fentanyl loses its Schedule I status by the end of the year. You oppose that, I assume?
I certainly do. All fentanyl-related drugs should be scheduled permanently.
Do you support mandatory minimums for people dealing in fentanyl?
I think we already have mandatory minimums for people.
Do you think they should be increased?
I think we have more than enough ability now to attack this problem.
Well, would you agree with me? Whatever we have is not working.
Well,
whatever we're doing is not working.
I agree with that because of the number of deaths that you pointed out.
So just keep an open mind that what we got on the books is not working. If somebody gave a candy-shaped pill full of fentanyl, could they be charged with murder?
Well, they can be charged with drug trafficking leading to death. I don't think the statute says murder, okay. But it does say specifically aims at that. We have brought prosecutions. I know, having discussed this with the U.S. Attorney in Colorado and the U.S. Attorney in the Southern District of New York.
So Senator Cotton's got a proposal to dramatically increase the penalties associated with fentanyl. I'd like to work with you and the chairman, if we could, to find a bipartisan solution to this problem to create deterrence that doesn't exist. Mexican drug cartels, should they be designated foreign terrorist organizations under U.S. law?
Yeah, I think it's the same answer I gave before. They are already designated in any number of ways and sanctioned by the Treasury.
Would you oppose some of us trying to make them foreign terrorist organizations?
I wouldn't oppose it, but again, I want to point out there are diplomatic concerns. We need the assistance of Mexico in this and designating.
Is Mexico helping us effectively with our fentanyl problem?
They are helping us, but they could do much more. There's no question about that.
Well, if this is helping, I would hate to see what not helping looks like. Well, so the bottom line for me is they're not helping, and we need to up our game when it comes to fentanyl.